Oh, hey.
Hey,
How are y'all?
good. How are you?
Hello, hello.
Good.
Hi.
You.
I
Hi,
think
how's
let's move
everybody? I think we're good, right?
yes, you want to move Jessica to how I don't know how y'all screen look on that side.
It looks the same as yours.
Okay, you want to move Jessica
Mhm.
to the bigger.
I'm go like that for now. All
Okay.
right. Yeah. How is everyone doing?
Hello.
There. Okay.
We are good. How are you?
Yeah, Sean said hello. Hello. Thank you
Hey,
for joining
Sean.
us. She was on it yesterday, y'all. So I'm sitting up here. I'm getting my move my phone over a little bit, my screen. So I get a message from her, and she's like, "Hey, are y'all coming on tonight?" And I'm like, "Oh, oh my bad, I'm a day ahead." I'm like, I love it though, because that's what we want.
Yes.
People are like, you know what? Like, but y'all, looking for us, that type of thing. So thank you. She's like, oh, I feel
Mhm.
bad. I said, don't feel bad, because that's what we want. So again, that support is everything. And we thank
Yes.
you
Thank you,
all.
Sean, for
Thank you,
looking
thank you,
forward to
thank
our
you.
lives.
Yes. So, and then we have Amy. Hello, beautiful. Hello. Thank you for joining us as well. Thank
Hey.
you.
Hey, Amy.
Love it, love it, love it. So
Hey, Kim.
Kim's on. Hello.
Oh, there's Kim.
Yes.
I love it, love it, love it. So definitely. We're gonna wait for a few more people to come on board. I'm just checking everything to make sure we're good. So all right, looks good from here. Looks good. Thank you all, everyone that has joined in. And thank you. So we have a lot of returners, our faithful supporters, and we thank you. And then we have some new ones as well, and we thank you all for joining us too. So yeah, we'll wait till about two more people get on, three more people, and then we'll go ahead and start.
Yes. Yes, we thank y'all for joining us tonight. We on here on time tonight.
For real, normally, huh? We be like pushing it back and everything. Like,
Yes.
so we'll get at 7.
Hmm.
It's been a long, it hasn't been a long week actually, because I think Monday us having Columbus Day off or Indigenous Day, whatever they call it now, that like really, I don't know. It ain't been
Girl,
a
it's
long
just
week, but
Tuesday.
I know what I'm saying, but normally we
Oh,
go
you seem
like,
like it's
how
just
it's been
long. It's been
long,
long.
we've been busy.
Oh, okay.
And then it be Tuesday, but I'm like, okay, you know what? I like having a Monday holiday. They need to make it every Monday. We have a holiday.
Girl,
Just
it's
like,
going by
oh
too fast for me.
no, we're going to
I
a
wouldn't mind
holiday
having a,
later.
I wouldn't mind having an extra day.
I know, for real. Like, come on, let's make it work. Like, yeah, I
Right.
would not. Yeah, be like
Mhm.
the Europeans. They I don't know, like their lunch break is like 3 hours long. They have to go home, take a nap, regroup. They go to the coffee shop, relax. I think that makes a big difference. As far as the health wise, mental, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
It
big.
does. It does.
So if you want to, so we have I think we have enough followers just to go ahead and start. So
Hmm.
we all want to thank you for joining us on the Topeka and Jessica's Live. And today we do have a special guest, and her name is Jessica as well. And we are
Hmm.
so thankful and blessed that she decided to join us and share her story with us.
Yes.
So for those who are returning viewers, we thank you for your continued support, for showing up, just for sharing, liking, following us, spreading the word about our podcast. And those who are new, we thank you for joining us, and we hope and pray that you will come back and join us again in the future.
Hmm.
So for those who don't know, I am Tamika.
And I'm Jessica.
And we are two best friends from the South. We have been best friends for years. I can't even remember how long. But we started our show, just as a way to, touch others, give back to others, just be that platform. We're coming at y'all with real, authentic stuff. Very transparent. We do not practice. We don't go over any scripts or anything prior to what you see is what you get. So it's like, okay, we're giving it to you raw and authentic, but we do want to be that platform, just again to educate, to inform, to provide hope, inspire, and just educate. And also a platform for others to share, their journey, their path. So again, if we have aspiring artists, and we have anyone may be going through stuff, educators or anybody in the medical field, anyone, just anybody. If y'all want to get on our platform and talk, and we can just be real life stuff going on, you with your kids, in a relationship, anything. We want to be that platform where you can come and definitely have a voice, so we can not only help, others, but just to spread the word, worldwide. So that's a little bit about our show, and I'll let Jessica start with a disclaimer.
So as y'all know, we are again a platform where we bring on talk about real life stuff that's going on in the world, just share information, valuable information that can help you. So we are not professionals. We may have professional insight on a lot of stuff, but we are not telling you like, hey, this is what you need to do in regards to your life, in regards to your medical stuff, in regards to anything that may, alter or change anything that's going on in your life. This is, again, a platform where we're giving out information. We bring on guests like we have tonight. Jessica's going to come on and tell us about her story for breast cancer awareness. So, again, we are just shedding light on situations, getting thoughts, inputs. Again, people are sharing their stories on this platform. So, again, we are not giving you medical advice. We're not telling you this is what you need to go do. So don't be going and say, well, Jessica and Topeka told us to go do this and their guests said to go do this. We're not saying none of that. So again, y'all can always comment. Y'all can always, share your stories if you want to. Again, if y'all have any stories that y'all want us to talk about on our platform, you can always inbox us as well. We do not disclose like, well, such and such sent us this message and they want us to talk about this, because some people don't want people to know who said what and what said what, but it's a topic that they want to have discussed because they just want some insights on something that they may be going through. So that is the gist of that. So tonight we have Miss Jessica on.
Hi.
And we've known each other for a long time. A long time. So y'all know October is recognized as Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So tonight we have Jessica on to share her story, pretty much tell her journey throughout your diagnosis, when you found out, and all of those things. So again, when we have guests on here, we do not sell like your story. We don't go out and say, hey, we want to share this, or we have this, you want to buy it. We don't do any of that. So this again is just a platform for you to share your story, for people to come on as well to understand, what you may go through, your journey. They may find it beneficial for them as well, say, hey, I might need to go have this done because I, felt this, or somebody said this. So this is what we're here for tonight. So we want to let you introduce yourself. I did a little introduction, but just start telling your story. Like, when were you diagnosed and what age, and like, how was it life changing and altering for you?
I was I believe 31, or I just turned 31 in March, but I had actually found it myself. So I did a self breast exam, and I was actually doing that because I had um a milk duct that was giving me issues, and I had to get it removed. And I developed like scar tissue. So I was always just checking, because I asked the surgeon the question if it could develop into, and of course he said it's always a percent. It depends on if you have family history, and things like that. So I always just made it a habit of doing that. But I believe it was in 2012. It was when I actually found it. But I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm 30 years old. There's just no way, So of course I ignored it, but then just kind of like looking online, and then of course being in the healthcare field, you kind of like start to notice, and then of course you have that denial type thing going on. I'm like, nah, this can't be. But it led to me getting an MRI, an ultrasound, and eventually a biopsy. So it was actually confirmed in 2013. I just turned 31. And it was basically, it was a stage 2 breast cancer, or stage 2B is what they call it, just because it did go to a few lymph nodes on the right. So it was just the right side. But I did elect to do a double mastectomy because there was always a percentage of it going, or developing in the left, whether it be the same or something, different. So I elected to do that. And of course, I could have done reconstruction at the same time, but I didn't want to wait. You know, like if I had to wait another month, I just felt like it was just going to get worse. You know, so I didn't do reconstruction right away, but I did do my chemo and my radiation, and then after that, I got on oral medications after that. Yeah, but it was definitely it was life changing. Just the fact that you are it felt unreal, really, because to be so young, to be 31 or 30, really, just because I found it, at age 30, it was it was just unbelievable, and very emotional, but my dad was I told my dad when I found out, and he was like, okay, now um let's do something about it. Like, suck it up and let's move forward. And I was like, that's right, so that's what I did. And I thought it was, I think, having the double mastectomy wasn't so bad as far as emotion goes. It was losing my hair during chemo. Yes, losing my hair during chemo. And but I had so much support. And I think that was the biggest part of what you're needing, or what you needed, was support. I had a lot of support from family, a lot of support from my friends. Even Jessica even took me a few to my appointments. Amy, of course, took me to a few chemo, just a whole bunch of people. And she even yeah, she even took me whenever when I first started chemo, I cut my hair. First off, I cut it short whenever I had surgery, before I had surgery, just because I didn't want to have to mess with it, and it getting in the way. Of course, after surgery, you couldn't shower for so long, and I had drains and everything. But when I started chemo, it was like I believe the first round, and I was like, well, maybe I won't lose my hair, because it was fine, And then here comes the second. It was like every 2 weeks. The first round of chemo, it was every 2 weeks, and on that second dose, after that second dose, it just started falling. And I was like, oh, man. I was like, okay. And I just shook my head, and it would just fall out. And I called Amy, and she was like, what's wrong? And I started crying. And she's like, I'm coming. She's like, what do you want to do? It's like, just let me cut it. I didn't shave it, but I decided to do like a pixie cut.
Yes.
And I looked like my mom. I looked like my mom, which is not a bad thing, but I just looked like her. I was like, wow. But yeah, so I got it shut. I got it short, like a pixie, like really short. And I've never had my hair cut so short. But that was the most emotional part, was my hair. And I don't know what it was. I think maybe because after surgery, it was just that strength that I had. But then I think and maybe most women be like, oh, that's a part of me because I'm a woman,
Right.
you know. But then I think with my hair being gone, and I'm bald, it was like, well, that's the last of like my womanhood,
Right.
Because even the chances of me conceiving was very slim.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
know, also, so that was just that's it. You know,
Yeah.
Mhm.
um, but so that was, yeah, that was very emotional, and I ended up
Mm-hmm.
having to shave my head because it was
Yeah.
still just falling out.
Yeah.
But and let's see, I think it was 2 or 3 years afterwards it had came back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it came back into my bone, pretty much, in my, like, my hip bone, or the sacrum is what they call it. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, so I did radiation treatment, but the blessing came with my daughter being born.
Yes.
So
Mhm.
at that same around that same time, anyways.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
hmm
Look at that.
Yes.
Allison came along, and she was definitely like the light,
Right.
on the darkest time
Mm-hmm.
of my life. Because
Yes.
I didn't think that, I was like, I'm good.
Yeah.
Right.
And I did do reconstruction at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Was a process, but when they told me that it definitely had came back, it was like, oh, it's like, man, like, what in the world?
Mm-hmm.
What am I supposed to do? Like, what do I
Right.
do?
Yeah.
And it's just like so many thoughts were going through my
Mm-hmm.
head, and it was at that time it was pretty emotional.
Mm-hmm.
And but then when I learned about Allison, it was
Mhm.
Right.
like, this is it. This is my chance. This is our chance, um,
Right.
to have a family. And then
Yeah.
she was just definitely a light,
Mhm.
a
Mm-hmm.
light, that
Definitely.
shone and brightened up my darkest day.
Yes.
Give you that
And
Yeah.
extra
so for those that, oh, go ahead, Pico. I'm sorry.
I said give her that extra to fight, like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
you're fighting.
Yes.
Yes.
Some days I can imagine, I have cancer as well. And I know some days, like with chemo, you're like, you know what, I just don't want to do it. It's just too much. But
Mm-hmm.
having her is probably like, you know what, I have something to fight for besides myself.
Right.
Just give you that extra power, that extra strength. So
hmm
that's a
Yes.
blessing.
Yeah.
So I know you said you had double mastectomy. So I know people may not know, double mastectomy is where she had to have both of her breasts removed.
hmm
And so the reconstruction part is pretty much having the implants. So I know you say you didn't have it done at that time, and that was a big change, and everything for you. So, you said the most emotional part was losing your hair and
hmm
everything. So, how did they, with the chemo treatment, did they do aggressive treatment in the beginning, or how did you decide which route you wanted to go?
Um, According to my physician, we did do the aggressive one first,
Okay.
and then it cut back to, and that was like, that's why it was every 2 weeks.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't remember. I only remember like the acronym was like ACT. It was ACT.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that's what chemo I had. So it was like the aggressive one in the beginning, and then the last two at the end.
Okay.
hmm
And how did the
And
chemo have make you feel? I know some people when they come back from chemo, they're just like drained for the entire day, like they have no energy whatsoever, and it takes them a little bit to build up their energy, and sometimes they don't because it just takes a lot out of you. How did it make you feel when you were
it
going
did.
through?
Well, I think some of that also is because of the pre-treatments. So now, a lot of people, they say that it caused a lot of nausea, vomiting, and stuff. So now they try to do a pre-treatment, so you're not so nauseated, so you're
Mm-hmm.
not feeling so bad. But yes, I felt pretty drained,
Mm-hmm.
tired, but that was, I think, mostly because of the medications that I was on, also, not just the chemo itself. Yeah, and especially even with radiation,
This
I
was
felt pretty drained.
Mm-hmm.
I felt really tired. It was like the energy just was sucked out
Mhm.
during
Yeah.
radiation.
Now,
Yeah.
so do you think radiation was worse for you than the chemo part of it, if you had to compare?
Um, no, I think the chemo was actually a little bit worse because um the
Mm.
I think it changed my taste of food.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So like used to, I could eat chicken off the bone.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Um, but during chemo, I didn't really eat as much because it would change my taste, and I couldn't, and the smell. I couldn't
Mhm.
stand the smell of the chicken on the bone.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't
Mm-hmm.
know if it was because of the bone, but I
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
couldn't. Yeah, I just, it was like,
Mm.
I had to peel
Yeah.
it off and eat
Wow.
it.
So
Yeah,
when
I
you peeled
couldn't.
it off, it made a difference.
It did. It
Mm.
Really?
did. It was like the smell. I had to like kind of pull it away from me and peel the chicken off the bone in order
Uh-huh.
to eat it.
It's
Yeah.
interesting.
That
Wow.
is. And you know what? I just seen a lady. I don't know if y'all seen when a lady got fired. I think she was 60 years old off of the bus. She was a
Mm.
bus driver. But I don't know what happened. I don't know, somebody found, I didn't read the full article, but I did read like the headline. But she got fired because she was drinking alcohol on the bus. But she didn't know it was alcohol because she couldn't taste because she's going through chemo and everything. So
Oh
since you said
my.
that, I was like, dang, so she was, it was sad
Mhm.
because she was crying, and everything, and like really, expressing, herself. Well, she didn't get any charges, but it's the whole fact that she's lost her job behind, her
Wow.
medical condition where she really can't taste, what she was drinking at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So where did
Yeah.
she get that? Where did she get the drink from?
I don't know. I didn't finish reading the article to see exactly like the full story, and I think
Okay.
I ended up, because I started looking at something and my mind goes somewhere else. So
Yeah, I understand that.
So I think I started looking at
Oh
something
man.
different. I can't remember, but I
Mm.
meant to go back and look at it because I was like, dang, that's sad, that
That
she
is very
does have
sad.
that, it change alters
Mm.
her taste and she couldn't taste, but she still ended up, getting fired behind that. And I was like,
Mm.
Wow.
dang,
That's
And
yeah,
crazy.
that
Amy
is,
Jones, Amy said that you made her feed her before chemo, Dandy Donuts and lemonade. And I love that combination because if y'all don't know Dandy Donuts, if y'all are not from Panama City, Dandy
right.
Donuts is a must. And if you are from Panama City, you know what I'm talking about. So when I do go
Yes.
home to Panama, I make sure I'm going to Dandy Donuts. And if they're
Yeah,
closed or have run out of donuts, I'm pissed. I'm like, okay. So okay, right, I just gotta get Dandy Donuts just to have it. But they have the best by far donuts ever. So
Yes.
yeah, they do got some good donuts.
Agreed.
Very
Yes.
good.
Yes. But it's because I ate before I did chemo because I knew after chemo I was not going to be able to enjoy my food.
Right.
So I was like, I'm getting some dandy donuts and
get
some
everything you
lemonade.
want. Like I don't care. I'm trying to learn this. And Sean said they go there every time they're home. Like, yeah, that's why
Yes,
I said
they
it's
do got
Dandy
some good
Donuts.
donuts. Good
Yep.
donuts.
So,
How long
yeah.
was your chemo treatments?
Mhm.
How long were you?
Um, let's see. I believe I started, say July, August, September. I started in September, and then
Mhm.
it of 2013, and then it ended the end of January of
Okay.
2014.
Okay. So
And then I
yeah.
got a little bit of a break, and my hair started growing back
Hmm.
uh, towards, I believe it was in December. I
Hmm.
had a little peach fuzz, and it started
Yeah.
kind of coming out. I was hoping that it would come out because everybody says it came out like their hair come out more curly or a
Yes.
little bit more wave or something. Mine
Uh-huh.
didn't. It came back out straight. I was hoping for a little volume or something.
Yeah, your hair was straight. I remember this other lady, she had breast cancer, and her hair, I used to always admire her hair because it was that silver gray hair, but her hair had came out when it started growing back. It was like the baby curls, like the soft baby curls. It was
Yes.
just so pretty to me. But yeah,
Ah,
since you said that, but yeah, your hair was straight. You didn't have any curls.
no, I had
Like,
no
man, I'm
curls,
still straight.
none
Beautiful though.
whatsoever.
None.
That's beautiful.
So
Oh,
you said that it came back, but it came back for a bone cancer. And I remember you calling me. I remember it was like, I think it was a Saturday or Sunday. I can't remember. You had called me and told me about that whole. And I think when you did, because
Yeah.
I want to say you had fallen, right? Did you fall?
Yes,
Okay.
I fell. Yeah, that was I believe it was Christmas time. like
Mm-hmm.
I believe it was 3 years after, because I had stopped taking my medication so we could try and conceive.
Mm-hmm.
But Christmas, around that time, I had ran outside and I fell because my dad had put down new what's it called, sod, new
Mm-hmm.
grass,
Mm-hmm.
and it was very soft, so when you stepped on it you kind of sunk in.
Oh.
So I had stepped
Mm-hmm.
on it or running, and I ran onto the grass and I fell.
Mm.
And then I hurt my hip. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, dang, this is bothering me. So
Yeah.
I had it looked at in the X-ray. I had an X-ray. It didn't show any type of fracture, but it was
Mm.
like, well, you might need to go get an MRI. And the MRI was like, you need to go see your oncologist. And I was like,
Yeah.
you
Oh,
got
God.
to be kidding me.
Right.
I was like, what? I was like, okay. And that was in December, and I had let that go um
Mm.
probably until May, April, May.
Oh.
It was just like this pinched nerve, and because
Mm-hmm.
you didn't think
Mhm.
anything of it,
Right.
and I was, of course, I was working, and then just I was like, wow. I was like, well, maybe it's just like sciatic nerve or something.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
I just pulled it and just needed get off of it. Um, but I believe it was like May. I didn't get it looked at until May, June, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
But
So when you
that's
first went to the doctor, they did not notice a fracture, but they said you need to get an MRI based on, did they see like deterioration or what
uh,
was it that they saw?
and I believe they had just saw, like, I don't know if it was like I don't know if it picked up like a lesion, but it just,
Okay.
I can't remember it. They did see something.
Okay.
I don't know if it was like a shadowy thing,
Mm.
but it prompted to get an MRI.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So that's what we did.
Mm.
Yeah, and then that's when
So
they
why did
told
you
me.
wait so long? Between just like not want to deal with it, or just like, you know what, I got too much going on, or just
She a
I was working.
nurse,
Yeah, I was working a lot.
and nurses are the worst patients.
Yes, yes, we are. Especially, I know I am.
oh,
Definitely.
oh wow.
Yes.
Mm.
Yes. But I was working a lot. I was
Okay.
and I believe I was in school too, because I was trying to get
Mm.
my RN.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and but I was working. I made to have like 2 weekends off
Okay.
in the month because we would be on call every other weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm.
so I was just working a lot and then going to school. So it's just like,
Me
and
too.
then finally when I got that little bit of a break, I was like, I need to
Mm.
get this looked at, because it's
Mm.
been, several months.
Mm.
And yeah. But that was the main reason.
Okay. That's
Because
okay.
I figured it was really nothing. Because I
Yeah.
mean, you don't think that it
Mhm.
would just came back.
Right.
There was just no thought. I was like, I'm in the clear. It's been 3 years, you
Right.
know.
Yes.
And normally I think they wait 5 years to
Okay.
actually say that you are pretty, or in remission.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. Okay.
And so I was
Afterwards.
like, I'm 3 years in, so I'm
Yeah.
good. Yeah. I was like, I'm good. I was like, nope.
Right.
Nope.
Oh.
I was
So
like,
your
what?
your bone cancer, that's related to your breast cancer. Is that what I'm getting from you?
This
Okay.
was actually,
Okay.
it was the same. So I'm is progesterone receptor positive, so it,
Okay.
it feeds off the hormones.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
Um,
wow.
and it was basically when they did the biopsy of
Mhm.
it, it was the same. It was the same
Oh
type.
wow.
Wow,
Hmm.
that's interesting. So it can
Yeah.
spread through your body, not
Yes.
just be
So
in your breast area.
right,
Oh
right.
wow.
So how it was explained, it was just basically like a cell that was just a cancer cell that was just dormant, that was just lingering
Mm.
around and just attached
Mm.
itself to something.
Oh
And
wow.
and it was my bone.
And it was
Yeah,
your bone.
Mm.
yeah.
Mm. And that was one that spread from your breasts. Is that what that was, or was just in your body lingering anyways, or they don't know?
I believe it was just That's a good question. I didn't really like, ask
Okay.
that, but I think it was just something that was just lingering
Hmm.
Interesting.
because
Okay.
I had chemo and radiation. You
Mhm.
think
Yeah.
that would get it, but
Right.
it was in my lymph node also.
Mhm.
Hmm.
And they took out the problem lymph nodes at that time, so it may have been in another lymph node that they didn't even see.
That's true.
Hmm.
That's
You
true.
know,
Yeah. Yeah.
That is true.
So
Damn.
did you have to go through the same form of treatment as your breast cancer when you found out, since it was the same type, or was it a different treatment?
it was just radiation,
Okay.
targeted radiation treatment.
Okay.
Yeah,
So you have to do the chemo again, just the radiation.
just the
Okay.
radiation. Yes,
Hmm.
Hmm.
which was a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I rather do radiation
Uh-huh.
than chemo because it took a
Like,
lot to grow this back.
yeah.
Right.
Healthy and beautiful. And on that note, Centrell Bell, we went to school with her, and
Hmm.
she is a breast cancer survivor as well. So
Yes.
definitely thank you, and I'm so happy that you have survived it.
Yes.
She was saying that her hair came back curly and very soft. And
Okay.
we were speaking of your hair, so she got that nice, look, the fuzz thing. So she's always had beautiful hair as well. But definitely, like you never know with so many people, and it's even me
Hmm.
knowing that breast cancer can be in other parts of your body. That's interesting because me, I'm thinking, okay, I'm doing my breast checks, and
Right.
I don't feel a lump or anything, I'm okay. But just to know that it can actually be in other parts. And I know
Hmm.
Jessica and I, we were speaking beforehand and just seeing how a lot of males can get breast cancer too. And I think that's one of the things that's not spoken about, that's not talked
Right.
about, because again, it's kind of like, oh, breast cancer is only a female thing. But no, males actually can
Hmm.
get and have gotten breast cancer as well. So I'm
Hmm.
gonna let you
Yep.
all chime in on that. And since said, thank you. You are so welcome. Yes, thank you for joining us.
Yes.
Yeah, I met because Gulf Coast did a what was it that they did with the bra show, the breast
Oh
cancer bra
yeah. We used to
that they
love going
did.
to that bra show because yeah.
Yeah, yes.
What was it? Because y'all know I have not lived in Panama since
So the
years, so I don't know
males
what that
that worked
is.
in the hospital, and we had some physicians too. They would wear decorated bras. So they
Okay.
would model the bras, but it was a show that was nice to attend.
Yes.
Do they have a shirt on under the bra? They just had
No,
bra.
no,
Oh, they just had just the.
just the
Okay.
bra. So
Mm-hmm.
some of them were very chiseled and nice looking, and yeah.
We
Yep.
already need some fun doing this here.
It was,
Before.
but it was during one of those shows that I met a
Hmm.
gentleman who had breast cancer.
Oh.
I can't remember um
Hmm.
like his staging or what type it
Mm-hmm.
was. Um, but he didn't. I believe he just had to do chemo and maybe radiation,
Hmm.
or a lumpectomy, I believe. But I
Hmm.
don't quote me on that. I really
Yeah.
don't remember. But he was the first one I ever. I mean, I knew it could happen.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's not as rare as or it's not as often as women.
Hmm.
But yeah, I was like, really?
Yeah.
Like, and you don't think of that.
No,
There,
you
a lot of
don't.
people don't. Yeah,
Mm-mm.
but yeah,
Because
it definitely happened.
right, because men can get mastectomies too as well.
Hmm.
Hmm.
A lot of times, yeah, when they have, so they also can go under mastectomy surgery and have that done as well when they're
Hmm.
diagnosed in the same kind of treatment plan or whatever. Because the doctor, he discussed like the different treatment plans with you, and then that's when you decided which route you wanted to go.
Yep.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
for a male, because I know women were kind of taught, do our self-breast exams, in the shower, which way to go, all of that stuff to find or to try to, get to know our body and kind of get a head start or whatever if there is something abnormal or wrong. But for males, like, is that something are they educated on that, or is it like, oh, they just feel something's not right? I mean, how will a male, I'm just thinking, even think to even check to see if they may have breast cancer? Like,
Right.
I don't
I
know.
don't think it's much education out there, with that to tell males to check themselves. So, that's something. If there are any males that's watching, y'all make sure you check as well. And even I don't even know when, because when we go get physicals and stuff, our physician will do breast exams on us, to say. So I don't even know if that's something that physicians do with the males to even check. So that's a very good question, to see, but to make sure, because, sometimes we may check ourselves and then, if a male check themselves, they may think, oh, it's just tissue or something, it's nothing to be concerned about.
Oh, I got a pet growing right there. I'm getting a little, buck right
Right.
there.
Right, exactly.
I'm good. Let the side come up too. Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I don't think they're because that gentleman that I met, he didn't think about it at all.
Right.
And I believe it was his wife that had found it.
Wow.
Wow.
But that's interesting.
That is. And if I've taken care of males that's had the mastectomies, but I never thought to ask, well, what, it just never came to mind. But I think the next time if I do have someone, I'm gonna ask them just, for knowledge to pass along to see what they feel or, or whatever. So
what's going through their mind at that time, you hear males talking about prostate, but you really don't too much hear that. You hear males supporting women with breast cancer because maybe their mom, sister, friend, somebody may have had breast cancer or, survivor or whatever. But I really haven't heard about many males having it or recovering from it or having a mastectomy. So that's very interesting.
Right.
Yep.
Information. Great information. Wow, I'm learning a lot.
Yeah.
So, she's out. Amy said, oh, hold on, let me go back here. She said, hold on one second. Okay, I always enjoy watching those live strutting the runway.
Yes.
The bralettes.
Yes. Girl, they used to have the cafeteria packed out
for real?
Girl, yes. When people know it was time for their bra show, it was standing room only. So yeah, they would be ready.
Yes.
Like a parade, outside candy. Oh my God.
Because some of them weren't just bras. They were made up type bras, like
tutus
a stethoscope
and different stuff. Yeah.
Kind of like the breast cancer awareness walk or something like that. Kind of like going, okay, that's something. I love every year I do participate in that. Me, my mom, and my kids.
Did they have a walk this year, Jessica? I don't remember.
I think they are having a walk. I think they are having a walk, but after COVID, a lot of things changed.
Right.
And of course with Michael.
Yeah.
Even with Michael, I don't even remember them having a walk. Maybe they had one last year, I believe, but I haven't heard. I know there is one this year, but I just don't know when.
Okay.
I forgot when it was.
Okay, because it usually be out there. Was it Aaron Besant Park?
Yes, at Pier Park.
Yeah, on Pier Park. Yeah.
Yeah, I went to a few of them before, but then afterwards, I think I was either working or wasn't able to go. And then of course Michael, and then COVID happened. That just changed a lot.
Yes, it did change a whole lot.
But I think they had one last year, and they are having one this year. I just don't remember when.
Okay.
Well, we have to look it up and see, because that'd be something. I know Tisha says let's all go, and that will be great support and everything. And then Ken said he always does his self exams as well. No, that's good.
Oh, well, that's good.
That's good. That a male is actually doing it. So wow.
Yes. So males, y'all make sure y'all do your self exam. Jessica, can you demonstrate with your finger how they should check? I'm just doing my hand like this. I know, right?
Like with the areola, you can go downward this way, or you can do the circular motion outward, and it's just filling for a lump that is a little hard, but what is the word? I don't know if it's boggy, but a little soft, but it's a lump.
That's true. With me, when I do mine, or I'm if I feel anything, I'm gonna call in the doctor, because I don't know. I think that's okay. If you don't know, if you feel a lump, you're I don't know what this is, call a doctor. Don't just be oh, it's nothing, because you really don't know unless if you get those additional testing. So if something does not feel right, I think it's very important. Listen to your body. make an appointment and go get it checked out. That way
Yes.
we know for sure.
Right.
So,
And believe me, because I think the first 2 years I was like just paranoid about a lot of things. Like if I
Mhm.
hurt a certain way,
Mhm.
or if something was more swollen than the other side,
Mhm.
or if something was hurting more on one side than the other. I was always saying,
yeah,
something. He was like, "Oh, well, let's get a PET scan. Let's get a
that's
scan
right.
done."
Right.
I was like, "Okay," and then it just come back, and I was always on edge,
Mhm. Yeah.
and then I come back and be all right. And I think
Mhm.
that's why also I went so long
Mhm.
without getting my hip checked out too, because
Ah,
just like you
yeah.
just don't think. You don't think, oh,
Right.
I can come
Right.
back. I've been clean this whole time.
Yeah.
I've been clear,
Yeah.
and there's no way. Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, look
And then
now.
after that, I was definitely every little bit of pain. It was just like,
Yeah.
I'm there. Yes, I want to make sure. So yeah.
exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go through the comments if that's okay with y'all.
Okay.
So Amy says, I'm ready. I haven't been as well since Hurricane Michael. Today is the 5-year anniversary of the
Yes,
hurricane
it
that changed our
is.
lives. And it definitely
Mhm.
is. It
Mhm.
came from my timeline. I was like sitting there watching some of the videos and I was like,
Yeah.
it's a
Hmm.
blessing. It's a blessing. Y'all are there, or live and just, again, I know you don't want to experience that. I don't want y'all to, no
Right.
one to experience that. It's definitely a blessing that y'all have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And then Amy says, I heard that you should check around 50, but now it's 40. So they
Mhm.
lowered the age.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Interesting. Is that because maybe more younger, or they're finding it more in younger people than before, or
I
why
think
the increase?
so. Because I believe they're seeing it in younger ages, like in the 30s,
Mhm,
especially if you have a family history. So a
Mhm.
lot of people, if they have a family history, they get what's called, I believe, a BRCA gene testing.
Okay.
mhm,
So and it may have changed since I had it. I believe there's another one that you can get done as well, but it checks the
mhm.
gene, and you can take preventative measures. I believe Angelina Jolie did
Hmm.
it um
Oh wow.
before too. I think she took what did she do? I can't remember. It was so long ago, but I know she did the gene testing, and hers
Mhm.
came out positive as
Mhm,
far as breast cancer goes. And
Oh
now it
wow.
didn't say that she had it. It was just saying that she
Right.
had the gene. So I believe she did a double mastectomy also, and just did the reconstruction along with it. So
mhm.
Mhm.
basically taking out the tissue, I believe, but I'm not sure. I have to look that back up. I
Interesting.
can't remember.
Interesting.
Yeah. So
But
the
there
BRCA,
are,
that's the cheat. Well, like they go in and get the testing. I
yes,
think
I
the
think I had a spit in a tube.
okay,
Mhm,
because
Um,
my doctor, it's been some years ago, but I don't know if it was something that was just coming out, but she did it on me, and I still have the results from somewhere, but it wasn't like an in depth, to see like if what type of cancer. It was actually like medication stuff. Like for me, it's certain narcotics that I can't take because within my genetics, I'm more prone to become addicted to it.
oh
And
wow.
then so I never knew. And then also on there, like Tylenol doesn't do anything for me. So
mhm,
like ibuprofen, that is like my go-to med, like if I got headaches or anything like that. And so actually on that thing, it told me, and I didn't know at that point, but I always wondered why. But it did say like Tylenol was not effective for me. Like ibuprofen is a more effective, medication. So that's interesting. When you said that, I just thought about that. Like, hey, I did. My doctor did, but it was just something they were coming out with. And then afterwards, I'm like, what they need? What they doing this for? What they trying to put? What kind of database they put my stuff
Like when you're thinking afterwards, like,
in? Right.
That's where your
they
conspiracy
using my
theory
stuff.
comes in.
Oh my God,
Right. You think about it after the fact, but that was interesting. I did find that, but because it's, I think it's helpful. It came helpful in a sense because it told, like, I don't like narcotics anyway,
mhm.
because they like take me to a whole nother dimension. I don't
There
like
you
that
go.
feeling.
Yes, yeah.
So,
Mhm.
but it was interesting, to find out, like, because, when you do have, surgery or anything, they put you on narcotics, and things like that. And then for her to find out that, the cancer does, and she went on ahead and did the preventative, measure, I think that is, interesting, the testing and all that stuff.
Yeah. And I mean, they come out with new things, like it seems like every year, all the time.
Yes.
Because I had to do one recently.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, my cancer I'm not in remission anymore. It basically came back, and now it's in my skull. No brain involvement, but there's 2 places in my skull that, yeah. So, but no radiation treatment at this time, just a change in medication.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But they did have me do another gene testing
Okay.
as well. And I think it was the same. I think it was like the BRCA1 and 2 testing also, but luckily that didn't show up with anything else. So that's a good thing. However, the way he explained it to me was like, you know, it could be because it's a newer, I believe because it's a newer testing, it could be that the cells are not being picked up because there's not that many.
Mm.
So yeah, I was like, okay, what does that tell me?
So is
Right.
You
it
know,
still breast cancer that's now in your brain? Is that what I'm getting? Or is it a different
well,
type of cancer?
it's hard to tell at the
Okay.
moment
Okay.
because I would have to go through biopsies.
Oh
And
yeah.
so so right now my doctor's just gonna change my medication
Okay.
and get on that and then do another scan and
We're
see.
gonna keep you in prayer because I can only imagine. Oh my gosh.
And it was again
Wow.
because when was this? So it's 2023. So 2020, when COVID came out, I lost the taste of salt,
Oh.
but I didn't have COVID.
Mm.
So I was like, what's going on? So I went and saw a neurologist, and he did an MRI, and it showed that I had a meningioma, which is benign. So it's a
Okay.
small tumor on my brain.
Mm.
So, but not cancerous. So, of course, I freaked out anyways because
Yes,
it's like,
yes. What's going on?
yeah.
Right.
But that's what prompted me to to say something. I lost the taste of salt, and I was like, what is this? And it wasn't COVID. And it had nothing to do with the meningioma or anything like that either. So I was like, it's weird.
Yes.
Come to find out, it's actually my cancer medication at that time. And I was like, why didn't I think of that? I was like,
Yeah.
why didn't I think of that? And I was like, wow. I was like, okay. Um, so I was like, all right. And then this time, I was having headaches more than usual. And I told my doctor, my oncologist, I was like, yeah, I'm having more headaches. And I don't know if it's because of the change of weather. But it's been so hot at that time. And then if it was sinus allergies, but it was just more than usual. And it wasn't like sharp pains or anything. It was more just a dull headache. It was just there. And so he was like, well, let's just do a repeat MRI. And I was like, okay. But the MRI it did show my meningioma, which hasn't grown, which is a good thing, but it showed a lesion on my skull. And they're like, you need to do a bone scan. I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, here we go. I was like, man, I was like, can't be happening.
Yes.
And it's around the same time, this is what, 7 years later, around the same time, June, July. And I was like, okay, get the bone scan done. And it lit up 2 places on my skull. And he was like, okay, well, let's get a PET scan and then do lab work. And
Mm.
so I was like, okay. But it's weird because my PET scan didn't glow as it should.
Mm.
And then the lab work didn't show anything either. So he was like, which is it's different, but he's saying it's because it could be like maybe there's not enough cells to pick up.
Oh, okay. Hmm. It
And
was.
so I
Oh.
was like, so what do you take it as? And then he just basically said it's just we're taking it as cancer progression. So I was like, all right. I was like, so what's my next step? So of course now it's just changing medications and doing another scan probably here in another month or so.
Hmm.
So it's just yeah.
Yeah, it's
Was
a
it a
lot.
bone density scan that you did, or what type of scan was that?
It's not a bone density scan.
Okay.
I think that's different. I think that's more for like osteoporosis type.
Okay.
So
Uh-huh.
this is more it's a bone scan to where if it shows like what is it called? Osteoblast, I believe.
Hmm. Okay.
Where the bone has like if you broke a bone
Mhm.
and it shows where it's what healing.
Okay.
I can't remember the word
Hmm.
that he used. I think it was osteoblast. I can't remember.
Interesting.
It's just something that would show like it's trying to heal back or
Mm,
regenerate.
Hmm.
Mhm.
that's a lot. And I
That
Yeah.
definitely,
is
y'all,
definitely.
even when I don't know, I think I be in denial more than y'all do. Because even when Pika told me, about her, and then when Jessica told me about, your recent diagnosis, and I'm like, are you sure? You need to ask the doctor this. You need to ask the doctor that. You need to ask the doctor this. And like, and I
Yes.
know it was like hard to process, because sometimes you don't want it to be true. You want it to just be like, okay, well, maybe this is not. And then, both of y'all will be like, well, no, this is what they said. I'm like, well, you need to ask this, you need to ask that, whatever.
Me too.
But it's
But it's
um
really, yeah.
it's just like when you're in that office, it's just like
Mhm.
everything goes through one ear and out the other because all
Yes.
you hear is wah wah wah. It's like because
Right,
you don't want to hear that. You don't want
right.
to hear the bad news. And
Mm-hmm.
it's just like so in my head I'm like, what?
Right.
What? And I cried
Mhm.
because I didn't know um like how to take that. And I was like, this is my third freaking time.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And like
Mhm.
what what else is going to happen,
Mm-hmm.
and that because I have my daughter to think about,
Right.
now it's like so there were so many thoughts going through my head, like if I have to do surgery, do I want to do that? Do
Mm-hmm.
I want to get a piece of my skull taken out if that was the case? If
Mhm.
I have to do radiation, even though it's targeted, how much of the brain would be involved? Like, am I,
Right.
going to lose some
Mm-hmm.
sort of function? It was a lot of thoughts going through my head.
Mm-hmm.
But so hearing or trying to listen, it was like I should have took somebody with me because there was just like no um concentration. I just could not concentrate. I could not focus on what
Mm-hmm.
he was saying.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's
Yeah.
So much evidence coming to you, and
Right.
like still trying to
yes.
process what you said. I have, and your plan, for me, but at the same time, I'm still hearing this, or as a
Mm-hmm.
repeat, like this is what you have.
Mhm.
That type of thing where it does make you, kind of like, okay, I'm here, but I'm not here. I'm gonna need this
Mhm.
Right.
appointment again, but without you telling me my diagnoses, but I'm
Right.
gonna need that appointment again, for us to go over the plan. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Because the first time like I had Jessica yeah, Jessica went with me on my first one
Mm-hmm.
when I went to go see my oncologist the first time, and she had to take notes. She took notes for me. And then the second time I went by myself, and I was just like, I'm tough. I'm all right. Go by myself.
Mm-hmm.
Give me what it is. And then this time it's like, um, the thoughts. I think more because I now have a child,
Yes.
to
Right.
think about,
Change everything. Yeah.
and a family to think about, and it's just like it was just too much. It was
Mm-hmm.
definitely too much
Mm-hmm.
to even process anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You
When
are
did you get okay to start opening up and talking about, your whole journey and process? I know with this last diagnosis, it was hard, for you because it was, new and you hadn't really spoken to anyone. So did it take you like in stages from your breast cancer when you first found that to overcome, processing everything and then finally starting to talk about it?
I think with the first time I was pretty comfortable
Mm-hmm.
with talking about it. But then I think as for this one, for this third one, it was just a little bit more harder to talk
Mm-hmm.
about because, um, like I said, I have Allison to really think about. Um, and it was just like, I think maybe I didn't want anyone to say, well, what are you going to do? Or what if this, what if that? Cause
Right.
I'm already thinking that.
Right. Right.
So I think it's just, it was very emotional. It was more emotional this time than it was the last two.
Mm-hmm.
Because especially the second time, Allison was coming about, and that,
Right.
like I said, she shed a light for
Mm-hmm.
us.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then, but now it's like this dim light,
Mm-hmm.
kind of like, wow, why? What if? What
Mm-hmm.
if, what if this doesn't work?
Mm-hmm.
What if I'm in more pain,
Mm-hmm.
and I can't function, that type of thing. So like
Mm-hmm.
right now, I told you before, um, so I'm supposed to be on a new medication,
Mm-hmm.
but I decided to redo my reconstruction
oh,
on
Okay.
my breast on my right side.
hmm.
The first time it didn't take because it's the radiated side. So my right side was the one that was really affected.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
My right breast. So um that was where the radiation was.
Mm-hmm.
And when I did the reconstruction the first time, it didn't heal properly and it started to open. So I had it taken out. And I wasn't worried about it at that time because Allison was born. So I was like, just if later in time, let this heal, and then I can redo it. Whenever she's walking, talking, doing things on her
Mm-hmm.
own.
Yeah.
And so that was so this year in March, I decided to redo my reconstruction on
Hmm.
the right side, and everything was going fine until this happened, and then I had to change medication. So my reconstruction failed again.
Mm-hmm.
Just because it's the tissue that's there, it's just not healthy
Mm-hmm.
to begin with anyway. So I mean, I was already taking that risk, and I already knew that risk.
Right.
But then starting the new medication, I had to start with new injections and the new oral medication. It Everything all at once. It just really um, made it hard. It was just, so I had to get it removed. So
Yeah.
I'm not taking, so I don't have to take the new oral medication right now because
Mm-hmm.
I'm having to heal up.
Right.
So so not being on it at the moment, I feel better, but when I started it, it was
Mm-hmm.
just, I was so
Yeah.
tired.
Mm-hmm.
I was tired, I was drained. Um my head was hurting even more. So it was just like it was just so many symptoms
Mm-hmm.
that whatever they say the symptoms are, that's
That's what
pretty
you
much
had.
is what I
Yeah,
had.
everything.
When they list it on the commercial, because
Everything.
I saw the commercial on it and I'm like,
Uh-huh.
yep, yep, yep. I was like, oh my gosh.
Like, is this real or what?
And then now that I'm not on it, I'm like, golly, I feel so good. But then
Yeah.
I know I eventually have to get back on it. And I'm like,
Yeah.
and I
Dreading
have to
it. You're dreading
prepare.
it. Yes.
Yeah. So I have to prepare. Um,
For the
Now
side.
that I know how it makes me feel, I just have to see what I got to do.
Right.
to
Mm,
to feel a little bit more better on it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Have you thought about joining? Because I don't know if you've
Mm,
listened before. I'm big on Facebook groups,
You
especially when it
know,
comes like to medications, and stuff like that. So maybe you can find like a Facebook group. Since is it a new medication?
it
It's
is.
a
It's a
fairly new.
newer, yeah, it's a newer medication.
Okay.
But no, I haven't even thought about that. And I know in the beginning people were saying, you can join a support group and stuff.
mhm.
Mm-hmm.
And I never did. I think mainly because um I had the support anyways.
Right.
Um with my friends and family,
Mm-hmm.
even though they
Mm,
weren't going through what I was going through, but they were there.
yes, yes.
But I never thought, yeah, I didn't ever thought
Mm,
about joining a support group, even though I
Mm-hmm.
know there is probably a few here locally or
Mm-hmm.
online. But no,
Mm-hmm.
I never thought to look.
Oh.
mm,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm big on this. So especially when my mom and stuff, I had joined quite a bit of support groups,
Yes, I remember you telling
getting
me that.
information and stuff like that on new medications, and just seeing like how people handle or different things that may come along that you may not know about, and stuff
Mhm.
like that. So yeah, is there anything that you want to share, like as far as like informational stuff, as far as like with breast cancer?
I was actually reading about um like the new cases
Mm-hmm.
of invasive breast cancer. So it's still 1 in 8 women in the
Mm-hmm.
US will develop breast cancer.
Mm.
And then for men, it's 1 to 833.
Oh wow.
wow, that's a big
Yeah,
difference.
it is a big difference.
Isn't that
Wow.
that is? But they're estimating in 2023, 297,790 new cases of invasive breast cancer that are expected to be diagnosed in women
Oh
in the
wow,
U.S.
That's a lot.
that's a
That
lot.
isn't
It is.
that is a lot.
That is a lot.
Mm-hmm.
That's
And I
only in
heard
the
that
US. Well, imagine worldwide. Like,
you
wow.
Yeah.
exactly, and and
Oof.
with it being worldwide, I didn't look at that, but there
Mm,
are a lot of countries that probably don't have
Mm-hmm.
mm,
that type of treatment,
mm,
or
Right.
can't afford that
mm,
type of treatment.
Yeah.
That's what's sad too. But I
mm,
know there's definitely, I did see if there was like a hotline. There is
okay.
a
Mm-hmm.
hotline for support groups, like you can look to see if
Okay.
there are any local support groups. And that
Okay.
was at the Komen Breast Cancer Helpline.
Mm-hmm.
And that's 1877 Go Komen, which
Okay.
is 465-6636 is our
One six
hotline.
five. What else? 66.
36.
6636. Okay, I'm gonna put it in the chat. So I just want to make sure I got it correct. So and that's Cohen, that's the KOWAN, right?
Komen.
Okay, KOM. Okay. All right. And Susan G. Komen, yeah. And
Yes.
she's like very known. Like when you do see different stuff about breast cancer, you will see her name, populated and stuff. So I
Hmm.
think they have a lot of like you said, the support groups, they can have some assistance, financial assistance,
Mm-hmm.
education, all of that stuff with
Right.
the Cohen. So
Hmm.
Okay.
Coleman. Put that in our chat thing as well. So prior to you discovering that you had, breast cancer or the lump, do you have a family history of breast cancer?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
So, well, actually, um, so my BRCA1 gene testing, 1 and 2, came back
Mm-hmm.
negative.
Oh,
Really? Oh wow.
Yes. So, but my maternal, I'm adopted,
Mm-hmm.
but
Susan G.
I know my biological maternal side,
Mm-hmm.
and I've asked my aunt, or one of my aunts, and so one of my aunts that I know, did have breast cancer, but only one that I know of. So as far as paternal side, I don't know.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. But maternal, my mother's side, yes.
Okay.
That's interesting. So,
Mm-hmm.
wow.
Yeah, and then like I said, my BRCA1 gene testing came back negative. So
Oh wow.
because
That's what I'm
I
saying. It makes you wonder, like, okay, how effective are these testing? I know it's a test,
Right.
so
right? I know it's
Right.
a test, but still, like, yeah.
I just feel like maybe not only would it be genetics, but environmental,
Yeah.
Yes, that has a
uh,
lot to do with
Mm-hmm.
yes.
like the foods that we eat, the
Yes.
air that we're breathing,
Yes.
I think
Radiation
maybe more,
exposure. Yeah.
yeah.
hmm Yep, that
Yeah.
is so true. So
Because
true.
I mean, when they're like, yeah, it came back negative, but there's, I'm sure they'll come out with more testing, and if you do that test, maybe it'll show something. Because
Yes.
they wanted to make sure, like, if a gene showed up where I had cervical, or I could develop cervical cancer or uterine cancer, then they
Oh,
would take proactive measures as far as probably doing a hysterectomy or something like that.
Oh wow.
so
Hmm.
it didn't spread to your uterus type area. Is that what that
Right.
was? Okay.
I think it covered uterine, cervical, and pancreatic at
Oh.
that time, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I can't remember exactly, but I remember because they wanted to make sure if that came back positive, and what which ones it would be that I would have to take preventative measures on.
Well, I
Hmm.
guess when you do get diagnosed with cancer, they're like, you know what? Now you're kind of predisposed, pre-exposed to having a secondary cancer.
Hmm.
Get one, I'm gonna say quicker, sooner, or whatever, but you definitely have a higher chance, of getting one. And
Hmm.
it's kind of like something else to worry about.
Right.
And
Right.
then just hearing your story, you are very strong. I mean, like, wow, like you speaking of
Mm-hmm.
survivor. Oh my gosh, like
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
I have to applaud you. I want to just reach and hug you because
Well,
Yeah.
you too. You're a
you're
survivor as
still,
well.
Mm-hmm.
you're still going and you're raising your beautiful daughter. And it's like, you know what?
Yeah.
Oh man, look at that.
Yeah.
Oh, in the first diagnosis, so I had to do a PET scan at that time too,
Mm-hmm.
and or before, or was it an MRI? It might have been an MRI at that time, um, but it was also in my lungs as far as,
Oh
What?
wow.
yes, because I
That was your
remember,
first one.
yes, with my first one.
Oh
So
wow.
Gosh.
I forgot about that because when I went to my oncologist this last time, he was like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, because remember it was in your lungs, and after you did the chemo, I
Mm.
think it was after chemo, I had to
Mm-hmm.
do a PET scan for a follow up, and it was gone. And I believe it
Oh.
was an MRI that showed the nodules in my lungs.
Uh-huh. Oh
Hmm.
wow.
And then
Oh,
after chemo, I had to do a PET scan. That was before radiation,
okay.
Mm-hmm.
and it went away.
Huh.
Wow.
Mhm.
That is whole.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, oh yeah, I was like,
Oh,
that's right. I forgot.
Yeah.
I forgot about that, and I was like, dang.
Right. So they
dang.
didn't never want to do a biopsy of the one in your lung or
Nope,
anything.
because it was gone.
Mm,
Hmm.
Yep,
mm,
it had went away because it
Yeah.
had showed up in my I believe it was my MRI because I didn't have a PET scan at that time.
Uh-huh.
I
mm,
did an MRI and it showed.
mm.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So did he not think it was just an infectious process? Because I know sometimes you can have spots in your lungs that's an infection.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes they're questionable, like if it's cancer or if it's just an infection, so they monitor.
Right. Yeah, that's what he. I think that's probably why he didn't.
Okay.
But then it had went away. But I don't really remember. I just remember him saying that
Right. Right.
this last visit. He was like, "Yeah, you remember you had nodules in your lungs?" I was like, "I did." I was like, "Oh yeah."
Mm.
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh wow." I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. Well, with everything, else it was probably just like,
Mhm.
but and plus it went away, so it probably wasn't anything that like, that stuck with you at that time.
Mm-hmm.
So he mentioned it again. So yeah, you've been going through a lot.
A
It's
lot,
what,
lot.
10 years?
Yeah, it's been
Almost
a
10
yeah.
years.
And
It's been
still
a time.
standing. That's the thing, like still standing,
Yeah.
still
Hmm.
fighting. And I think you're at it. To me, I feel, of course, you have your moments, your struggles, and everything. Just even going through it, it takes a toll on not only your body but mentally, physically,
Mm-hmm.
emotionally, everything. But I think just trying to keep a positive attitude, I think that really helps a lot. You
Hmm.
know,
Mm-hmm.
and mind you, I can imagine, some days you're like, you know what, I don't want to do this. This is too much. It's too much.
Hmm.
But for the most part, it's, having that positive attitude. Your daughter, like, you know what, she's here. I want to see you,
Hmm.
graduate or whatever it could be. I'm going to fight
That,
Right.
this. I'm going to win. I'm going to beat this. Just having that positive attitude. I feel that'll take you far. I feel that's what kind of like got me this far as well.
mm-hmm.
Um, but like I said, I just definitely, applaud you, but just to be educated myself on this, because I knew breast cancer with the breast, but to know that that same cancer can go, throughout your body.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
didn't
that,
know
and
that. That's just
yeah,
like, wow. So now I'm
Yeah,
kind of like,
that's
I can go get checked. Because that's know I'm always like, something ain't right. I gotta go get checked.
yeah.
that's what took
I
me
gotta
by
check myself.
surprise
I gotta
too.
go.
Mm-hmm. Because when he did that biopsy on the bone, and he said it came back as the same as my breast cancer, I was like, what?
Mm.
And I mean, I was like, well, how is that like possible?
Right.
And he said it was just like it was just a cell that was lingering around, that was just dormant, and it finally
Wow.
attached itself. And so I was like, okay. I was like, well, take it as that. But
Mhm.
there are days where it can be emotional for me, or
Mhm.
I don't know if it's, I think it's just a lot of thoughts. It's a lot of what ifs
Mhm.
in the
Mhm.
back of my head. That's
Right.
all.
Right.
So, and then I think but then when you have the support from your friends and your family, it boosts you up. And then it's like, and then of course, yes, looking at my daughter, like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, you know,
Yes.
no matter how much of an attitude she has,
And
Yes.
she's
I look at her and be
busy.
like, golly,
Mhm.
you're
Yeah.
7. I mean, I want to see you graduate high school,
Mhm.
go to
Mhm.
college, get married. Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
But there's
Yes.
a lot of what ifs. So,
Right.
I know.
like my oncologist said, we'll be very close.
Mhm.
Mhm. Mhm.
We're going to be close all over again. I was like,
Right.
no problem.
So
No
do you have the
problem.
same oncologist? Have you had the same oncologist this whole journey? The
Yes.
same one. Okay, that's good. That's good.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Yes.
So I often think about the healthcare and the, how can I say, just getting a provider or oncologist or whatever it is that you're very comfortable with, that
Yes.
that you're okay, speaking to, talking to, and that you have trust in
Mhm.
him or her, their
Mhm.
abilities, and that again, that you have faith in them. I think that's very,
Hmm.
very, very important. Sometimes, like, I don't know, some people just want you to go to this provider, that provider. And with
Right.
me, like, I have several provider specialists as well. I'm like, no, I have rapport with this one, and it's one that I've grown, you know what I'm saying, grown with. He's grown with me, and not just that, I trust them. And
Right.
sometimes you don't have to provide. Sometimes there are iffy providers out there. I don't want to say good, but
Mhm.
iffy providers. No, I'm comfortable where I'm at. We've been on this
Right.
journey together, and I'm comfortable, so I need to stay here because I think that really matters. And in your
Yeah.
case, he's been with you throughout this whole process, again, and that really matters as well. So,
Yes. Yep.
yeah,
It does.
look at that. Wow. And then you are a mother, and oh my gosh, going through everything. Like,
It was
whew.
tough. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. It was a lot of ups and downs, but I think that with the first one for sure, with the first diagnosis, I mean, I was going to school, and I was doing that even during with chemo and radiation.
Mhm.
Mm,
And then the second time, um, because I didn't have, we didn't have children, so I mean,
Mhm.
I was working my butt off. And that's all I
Right.
did.
Right.
But then when Allison came along, it was more focus on
Mhm.
Allison. But there was a lot of pain also. I mean, I had a lot of bone pain
Mhm.
um, that I had to try to adjust.
yeah.
Um, medication wise
Mhm.
and everything, and try to get used to,
Mhm.
used to everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, you
But
are
I think that was
definitely
more with
very
the
strong.
Mm.
people say that, and I don't. To be honest, I don't feel that.
Yeah.
I know, like, people say it, but
Mm-hmm.
then, like, I think more it's like deep down inside is like sometimes there's like
Mm-hmm.
like I said, there's just days where I'm like,
Mhm.
I don't want to do this, but then
Mhm.
it's like, ugh, I have to do this. Then
Mm-hmm.
I want to do this because
Right.
I have to do this,
Mhm.
you
Mm-hmm.
know, and I have to fight. But
Mm-hmm.
like I said, there are days where it's just like I don't want to.
Mhm.
Right. And it's fine to have those days. We all like,
Mhm.
child, I'm not even going through half of the stuff, and I have them days quite often. Quite often.
Yes. Mm.
But the courage of just, keeping, pushing and
Mhm.
moving forward and,
Mhm.
saying, okay, this is what you don't, you have those times, but you don't stay in it. It's, gaining the strength to keep pushing and to keep moving. So
That is
I
so
think,
true.
that's where, we come and say you're strong because, it takes a lot to act, especially when you're going through something medical wise, where you don't feel like it or you're hurting,
Mhm.
and just to have the strength to get up and keep going. So that takes
Mhm.
a lot within itself.
Like I don't even want to get out of bed right now, but I gotta get out of bed.
Right.
I just
Right.
I gotta roll myself over a little bit, a little bit more, a little bit more. But you make it. Like God, it took me an hour just to get over.
Mm-hmm.
You make it. So
Mhm.
wow. Mm.
That's right.
Mm.
Yeah.
I want to go to the comments if that's okay with y'all before we get
Mm-hmm.
off. I'm
Mm-hmm.
trying to remember where we were, so bear with me, y'all. Um, we did Amy. Okay. And Sean was saying that women of color have more dense breasts.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I remember hearing that at one time as well, which makes us more prone, I think, to fibroids, if I'm not mistaken. Am I right? Am I saying that right, y'all? The fibroids, fibrocystic breast or whatever.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah,
Breast
yeah, yeah.
more dense. Okay.
Yeah.
And then she said, I think it's even lower than the 30s where I work. We see them in their 20s.
Oh,
Mhm.
wow.
Wow. Wow, it's not even think. So young girls, young women, men, everybody start checking your breast early. Like it's
Yes.
not an old
Start check.
folks thing, it's not a mid whatever. Check, check, check. And then
Right.
Cynthia, when she had a double mastectomy, they took fat
Mm.
from her stomach and reconstructed her breast.
Oh,
Mhm.
wow.
That's very interesting.
That
Yeah,
is,
I
yeah.
was gonna go through that route, but
Uh-huh.
I think
Hmm.
with my situation was a little different.
Hmm.
It was,
Mm.
yeah, it was just not healthy.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
okay.
I know you can even if they can
I
put it wherever. So put it in your blood, put it in your breast. So
yeah.
we're gonna use our own body tissue. So
Right.
and then Amy's saying, wow, I was curious. We as women just have to be aware and know our bodies. And that is so
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
very important. Our body will
Uh-huh.
tell us stuff before the doctors, any test will.
And men
Mm-hmm.
too, definitely men, um,
Mm-hmm.
definitely need to look as
Mm-hmm.
well
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yes.
so true.
and
Yes.
examine themselves. Just
And
because,
even going and having regular checkups, even if you
Mm-hmm.
don't have anything going on, I see people a lot of times that come into the hospital where they don't even have any sickness or illness, but they don't have the regular checkup. So when they come in, sometimes they have stage 4 liver cancer,
yeah.
Yep.
and they don't have the symptoms until it's gotten to that stage. And so, even going seeing your doctor for regular checkups, testing, and stuff like that, just to stay in the know of
Mm-hmm.
what may be going on with their body.
Mhm.
That is very, very important. That is so
Mm-hmm.
true. So true. Yeah. And then we're on. Tisha says, hold on. Can you ask for a gene test or do you have to have a family history of cancer?
That's a good question. I think you can actually ask for gene testing.
Hmm.
Um, I'm not sure if you have to have a family history.
Hmm.
You
Maybe
probably
it's
don't
something they prove the
have.
family history if that's the case. So you would
Mhm.
Yeah.
think, yeah, or how would or will insurance cover it if you don't have a family history? I wonder.
Right, you probably would have to pay out of pocket, maybe.
I know with my daughter, it was something that she was just doing. I think it was new. They were there doing it at her office, so she was offering it. So I think it was like fairly new coming out then with them doing that. So it's something that, you probably can just ask your doctor about doing. And the insurance may cover if it's a preventive type thing.
Yeah, I'm looking it up now, so that's what I'm doing.
Okay.
That's why my head is down. But hold on, because
Okay.
I'm interested in doing this. I want to go get the test too, just to see. Even though it may not be accurate, I just want to. Maybe I don't need to, because then I'm gonna worry. Like,
Yeah.
but it says on here. Okay, it says many reputable laboratories have financial assistance programs. Medical grade genetic testing may be available for free or as little as $1.99.
Okay.
Wow. Okay. And it says the cost of genetic testing can range from 100 to no more than 2,000, depending on the nature
Ooh.
and the
Okay.
complexity of the test, right? Um,
Yeah.
it says most health insurance plans will cover the cost of genetic testing when recommended by a physician.
Okay.
However, all coverage and reimbursement is subject to, the plan and stuff like that. So it's worth, I mean, looking into it. And I know, like,
Right.
yeah, with the gene testing, they got like one testing too. Like it says, can I afford a genetic testing for cancer risk and all of that? So I guess they have different type of gene testing is what I'm getting from here too. So
Mhm.
interesting. Yeah. So all right. And then Miss Sent said that she's praying for you.
Thank
And
you.
Tisha said praying as well.
Mhm.
And then Sean said definitely prayers for your healing.
Mhm.
And then she went back and answered the question, says you can ask for the gene test.
Okay.
Oh,
And then Tisha says, Sean, thank you. And then they're doing you're welcome. And I don't Kim says praying for you. And then Tisha said, wow, to probably some part of the conversation that we were on. And Kim said, Jessica is so strong.
thank you.
And Kim says, not my Allison.
Oh, that's probably because of the attitude problem. Okay.
No, and they're always good for others. It's like at the house, like y'all don't know what I'm getting. Y'all don't know what I'm going
Right.
through.
Right.
They're an
Exactly.
angel for you, but at home I'm like, ooh, ooh.
Yes.
Oh.
And she is. She is good for everyone else. But then when it's me and her, it's like, what?
She's like, it'll make you into a liar. Like, no, I'm
Right.
an angel. My mom
Yes.
didn't know what she was talking about.
Yep.
No. And then Tisha says, Allison does it ever, ever, ever. And Kim says she's an angel for her too.
Oh,
That's how it always be though. Always.
y'all
Always.
come get her. Come get her.
Yes,
Yeah,
thank you. Okay, let us
when
say
when you see Allison in person, she is like the perfect child. The perfect.
oh, that is something. Dang. So, are there any questions that any of you have for Miss Jessica before we get off? If so, please put them in the comments section because we want to get to any and all questions that you may have. And like I said, it's just definitely a blessing that you came on and willing to share your story with us
Yes,
in the
thank you
world.
so much.
That it took a lot of strength, a lot of just like what. Because even
Mhm.
getting the courage to be able to talk about it without bawling, crying, like, oh my God, I'm really going through this still
Oh,
at this moment.
it
And
was taking me a minute
yes,
Yeah.
just to hold it. Yes. I'm not going to lie.
yep, I know. Sometimes I'm like, okay, I'm okay talking about it sometimes I'm not, again, and then who knows what you experienced or what you were going through right before this call, like it's real life
Mhm.
stuff. Like I may look
Right.
okay, just speaking like you may be like, okay, I look okay right now, but you don't know what I went through like 5 minutes before I got on this call, what I'm going through
Right.
now,
Right.
on this call.
Yeah.
I'm in pain, I'm hurting, but
Mhm.
I'm showing up and I'm so proud of you for doing that. And you continue to show
Mhm.
up.
Mhm.
So
Yes.
Kim says that she's an angel for me. Speaking of Alice,
Thank
and Amy says this is so informational. I will be tuning in more, ladies. Thank you.
you. Thank you.
Yeah, so yeah, definitely we're gonna be, supporting, and if you all definitely need anyone that you know of that may be going through breast cancer, treatment,
Mhm.
any survivors, anyone that may have lost family members to it, there are support groups out there, and Jessica was nice enough to go ahead and provide one for us. The
Mhm.
Susan Coleman, and there's a number there that you can contact her, reach out, contact the group. I'm sorry, reach out and just get more information, more support, and even if it's just financial assistance, even if it's a shoulder to cry on, or just, hey, what do I do? And one thing I do want to hit on is that caregivers, right? I know you mentioned you have a great support system, which is phenomenal. I mean, that I think is needed as well, like you said, to get through everything. But there are also support groups for caregivers, those who may be right alongside you while you're going through whatever you're going through. And I think that's very important too. So there's help and resources out there, not just for the person going through it, but for the caregivers, for the survivors, but we have to reach out and get that information, reach out and, hey, I need help, and it's okay to need help,
Right.
Oftentimes we just don't know where to go, don't know who to call, any of that. But we definitely want to be that resource for you. So if you come up with any questions, once we get off, please send them to our Facebook Messenger or our YouTube, anything, and we can get it over to Jessica. And I'm sure she'll be willing to answer or provide more information. So yeah.
Yes. And I still got my bracelet.
Oh my goodness.
Listen, let me tell you, because this was like way before Hurricane Michael, when you had these bracelets and everything. So, and it was because I had been like the hurricane, I had to redo everything in my house, moving from place to place or whatever. So after that, I seen my mama walking around with it on her arm one day. And I looked, I said, is that my bracelet? And it was my bracelet.
Oh my gosh.
I don't even know where she got it from, but it had to be at their house, and she had it one day. I said, but I didn't take it from my way until she took it off, and I got it. But
just look at that, like I'm taking this bracelet back home.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my. So, oh wow. Definitely.
But yes, thank you again for joining us, and thank y'all for tuning in to our lives. We come on usually every Tuesday. If we have a Tuesday that we don't come in, we do let y'all know in advance that we won't be on that day. So y'all make sure y'all join in and tune in. And this month will be filled with like interviews, because I hadn't talked to people, because I actually did this like right before we came on, because we will have Mr. Ron on next week.
Oh, that's gonna be interesting.
Yes.
Tune in.
So next week will be very interesting. So we'll have a male on, and we're gonna be talking about relationships and just different things, y'all. So y'all may want to just hold tight to your pearls on this next one.
Okay.
Yes. Males, be sure to join in, because this one is for you all also. So it's not just us females, which is okay, but I know sometimes y'all want to hear from a male as well perspective. And yeah, this is gonna be lit as well. So it's blessed just to come on. And we got another one, so we're definitely like, wow, blessing. So that's awesome. Okay.
And we got. So he said, y'all sure y'all want to have me on? He said, because I don't hold nothing back. I said, oh, we know we up for the challenge. So
yes, and we like that. Don't hold anything back. Again, we are the platform for everybody. Again, just come on, transparency again. So because sometimes you don't get that. Like, we're not rehearsing, we're not doing anything. We're gonna give it to you like it is, because that's the best way to be. Be authentic. So
right.
Yes.
Yeah. Awesome. Wow.
Right, so thank you again, Jessica, and thank you all as well. And again, if y'all have any topics that y'all want us to discuss on the platform, or even if you want to come on and be a guest, y'all just let us know, because we are happy to have you all, and we welcome you all with open arms.
Yes.
And we just want to have y'all on. So
I agree. I love it. And thank you again, Jessica. Thank you. I cannot thank you enough. And before you go, would you like to provide a message or anything for anyone in the community that may be going through any type of treatment, just finding out they have cancer, breast cancer, anything? Would you like to leave us with like a, I don't know what you call it, an outage thing or something like that?
Just to have faith, really. To have faith, because without it, it's just, I don't know. I had to have a lot of faith, and a lot of there were some doubts, but I had to look towards, God and my Lord, just to
Yes.
have the faith. I know He would not give me
Mhm.
more than what I can't handle,
That's so true.
and then you're not alone. You're not alone. Um, if you
Mm.
need someone to talk to, reach out to someone,
That's so
a
true.
Right.
friend, a family, your doctor.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
You're definitely not alone.
Yes.
That's so true. That is
Yeah.
so true. Wow. That is
Yes.
true. We thank you again. Thank you
Yes,
for
we
that
do.
message leading us out. And like she said, just have faith. Have faith.
Right. So
No, you're not
important.
alone. So, yes, awesome. Thank you again, Jessica.
Thank
So
You're
you.
welcome. Thank you for having me.
You're
I'll be
welcome.
watching next week.
Yes, please.
awesome. Awesome. Please do. Please do. Everyone, please. So, we want to thank you all for joining us on the Topeka and Jessica Live. We'll see you
Yes.
all next week, same time, same place, 7:30 Central Time on Tuesdays. And we will have another guest speaker, Mr. Ron Blism.
Yes.
He'll be on just gracing us with his presence and with information about relationships, his opinion, his thoughts, everything. So we will see you all here next Tuesday, same place, same time.
Yes. Y'all have a good
Bye.
night.
Good
Good night.
night.
Bye.